Welcome back. Planned Parenthood is resuming abortion services in Wisconsin this morning after pausing procedures for more than a year. Abortion services were temporarily banned in the state following the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. A state law from 1849 then immediately went into effect, making it a felony for any person other than a mother to destroy the life of an unborn child. Confusion over the language of that law led to a lawsuit to have it repealed. Back in July, a judge ruled that the law does not apply to abortions. Bringing us to today, NBC News correspondent Maura Barrett joined us from outside Planned Parenthood in Milwaukee with details. So, Maura, walk us through the judge's ruling here. Help us understand this law that was on the books and then what the judge had to say about it.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, Planned Parenthood will resume those procedures this morning here at one location in Milwaukee and also over in Madison as they ease back into doing these procedures after they had halted them about a year ago. And now you'll have to forgive me for getting into this legal jargon early on a Monday morning, but it's understandable why this language was so confusing, because as the law was written in 1849, it wrote that any person other than the mother who had intentionally destroyed the life of an unborn child could be guilty of a felony punishable by 6 years in prison and nearly $10,000. Now, people who are against the right to an abortion made the argument that that applies to a doctor. But then this lawsuit was put into place, and the Dane County Circuit Court Judge Diane Schlipper ultimately wrote that this does not apply when it comes to the case of consensual abortion. She said that there was no 1849 era abortion law. She says that it actually looks like it more likely applied to something called feticide, which would be the act or instance of killing a fetus, usually by assaulting or battering, so something more malicious in nature. And that is what brings us here today, where Planned Parenthood has made the decision to reinstate those procedures, even as this case is still facing further litigation in the high court, Joe.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, this lawsuit is going to continue. It's not over yet in court. This case could eventually reach the Wisconsin Supreme Court. That court now has a liberal majority for the first time in 15 years, something that got a lot of coverage in the last year. What could that mean for the future of this case and just abortion rights in general?
Yeah, I mean, the flip to a liberal court is really the key point here. Basically, Planned Parenthood was able to take the indication of what the state looks like politically and make the inference that as it goes through the high court, what that ultimate decision will look like, even as the case continues to be challenged, whether or not practicing abortions here in Wisconsin will be seen as legal. As it stands now, what they have from the circuit court makes it look like they'll lean in the same direction, given the election and the flip to the more liberal court. But I think this also paints a larger picture for what we're going to see in terms of the battle around abortion rights for both Democrats and Republicans, especially in purple states like here in Wisconsin, and how people are going to choose to run their elections, because that's exactly what happened with the judge who was elected to the Wisconsin State Supreme Court, because she did make abortion rights a big focus in her campaign. And so that's how we're going to have to take a look at people as they lay out their path toward 2024, where they choose to focus and what it means for battleground states like Wisconsin.
Maura, real quickly, let's talk about the impact of this state law over the past year. I have to assume you're not too far from the Illinois border. It had a huge impact on that state.
Right, Joe. About 50 miles south of here, there is a Planned Parenthood in Waukegan, and they had seen a 600% increase in patients looking for abortion services in Illinois, because if you look at the map of the Midwest, a lot of states, Illinois is kind of this isolated state where they do allow abortions compared to the other states surrounding it. So they had seen this incredible influx. So this will help take some of the burden off of that. Obviously, Planned Parenthood does say that they ultimately want to expand to more locations around Wisconsin. But because they haven't been doing this, haven't been practicing abortions for the last year, they have to ease back into it. But it will be definitely an ease on the burden in states like Illinois, where abortion has been protected for the last year, Joe.
All right, Maura Barrett in Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.